So we're going to be, let me try to work this here. And this is the name of my talk today, The Secrets to an Outstanding Life. Now let me ask you, like, seriously, who here wants to have an outstanding life? Yes, all right. Well, I'm talking to the right crowd. So I'm going to be giving you some handouts also. I don't know, oh, it looks like you have them. Good, good, good. So let's look at a couple things here. One of the questions that, and excuse me if I start coughing because my throat's not right, but one of the questions is how is it that someone can run into a burning building and save someone's life, and another person can kill for the sheer pleasure of it? How is it that there's an Osama bin Laden and there's a Nelson Mandela? How is that? Because all of us have the same nervous system, but we're very unique in our own ways. So let's take a look at a couple things that kind of make up who we are and the meaning of how we become who we are. So let's look at this right here. This right here, these three patterns, these three patterns basically determine who we become. And let's look at them for a minute, because if you look at this triangle here, we look at physiology, we look at focus, and we look at language. If we change just one of those things, all of the other parts of the triangle change. So what does that mean? So let's talk about it for a minute. So when we look at physiology, when we see our patients come into our practice, they come into our practice, and how do they look? How's their posture? You know, like this, it's crooked. Sometimes you'll see people and they'll say, you know, and other people have talked about it here, saying, oh, you know, I'm really, you know, oh, I'm depressed. And how's their posture? Like this. Do you ever see kids sometimes and they're really down and they're like this? So our posture determines who we become, believe it or not. So when we see people win in a sporting event, for instance, right? When we win, we see someone win the Olympics, how is their posture?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're feeling sad and crappy, right? Just notice your posture. Look at the people coming into your practice. Look at their posture, what's going on. Hey, great to see you. Yeah, it's an all right day. You know? So we, believe it or not, we have the ability to make great influences in ourselves and in other people's lives. So sometimes I'll just say to people, I'll say to patients, I'll be like, all right, come on, let's jump up and down. And they'll be like, whoa, what do you mean? Or I'll bring their heads up. Or I'll do things with them to put their posture, because that's what we do. We adjust the nervous system, which changes the posture, which changes who they are and changes their life and the world. And it's the same with us in our office. I mean, sometimes we'll have things go on in our office and I'll be like, make your move. You know, Amanda and Megan and Mary and all of us, you know, we'll be in there and we'll be like walking down the hallway, and I'll be like, yeah, and they'll go, yeah. Now, why do we do that? Because if we do that, boom, our biochemistry changes. We change. And then we're able to be amazing human beings out there being chiropractors and affecting the world. So let's look at the next one. The next one's focus. So focus, what we focus on, and you've heard this before, because us chiropractors, we are just awesome human beings. Would you agree? Woo! Like seriously, this group of people, we are amazing. That's why we like hanging out with each other. You know, we're like on top of it. The things actually that we focus on, I don't know about you, but they're pretty outstanding. They're pretty amazing. You know, we think about healing people's bodies. We think about removing subluxations. We focus on things that change the world. But in order, we have to, what I really want you to think about is, there's some questions that you need to ask yourself. you got to think about the questions you're asking yourself. Do you say to yourself, oh, I'm fat. Oh, oh yeah, I'm just old. I'm getting old. Or, we say certain things, or why does this keep happening to me? I want you to think about the questions that you're asking yourselves and change those questions. How can my day be filled with the guidance of God and I be filled with the most abundant love in the world? How can I help heal people? Ask yourself questions so when you answer the questions, you get great answers. Think about the things that you're focusing on, because that's who we become. And you guys know a lot of this stuff. This is kind of like old school for you. Let's look at the next one, language, for a minute. And I want to talk about language because I handed you guys out a piece of paper, because the things that we say really matter. Now, I gave you this piece of paper because it gives you some other things to say. So instead of saying, man, I'm just angry, we can just say, oh, I'm peeved. Or instead of saying things like, let's go down here a little bit and look at angry here, oh, I'm just disenchanted. Just disenchanted. Or instead of saying, I hate, I prefer. Or instead of being irritated, being stimulated. There's a bunch of words here, and you can play with them, and I gave them to you. Because would you agree that the words that people say have really great meaning? And I want us to think about the words that we say to ourselves when we look in the mirror. They've talked about this. When we look in the mirror, what are we saying to ourselves? Are the things that we're saying to ourselves things that we would ever allow other people to say? I had a friend once, and she kept having trouble finding a guy. And I said to her, well, how do you feel about yourself? Do you love yourself? And she was like, well, no, I don't want to talk about that. And my question is, if you can't love yourself, how can other people love you? It's pretty important. When Martin Luther King Jr. said, I had a dream, those words meant something. When JFK said, it's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, those words mattered. If I say, oh, I have a nice girl I want you to meet. That's much different than if I say, I have this amazing woman I want you to meet. Right? If I say something to you like, oh, I have some nutritious snacks outside for you, compared to, I have some delicious snacks outside for you. So think about the way you use your words and what they mean. Because those words, your physiology, your language, and your focus will actually determine whether you have an outstanding life or not. They'll give you the meaning, okay? So let's look at a few things here. There's six human needs, and we're going to talk about them for a minute, because I find them really fascinating. There's 6 human needs that all of us have in common. And these 6 human needs is why we do the things that we do. And I want us to look at them for a minute. The first one is the need for certainty. So what is the need for certainty? That's so that we can avoid pain and have pleasure. So as a chiropractor, it's so important that we have certainty with what we do. Did you ever go to be with a patient or go to be with someone and you really don't have a lot of certainty? And you're kind of a little bit, hesitant? It's very different than if you come across with good certainty within you. And these 6 human needs, all of us, this is basically these needs, we all have them. And our whole existence is working towards these needs. The next one is uncertainty or variety. And that's the need for the unknown, the need for surprise. So if you're in your office and you've been doing the same thing that you've been doing for 10, 20 years, maybe it's time that you have some uncertainty or you have some variety in your practice. And that's really important for you to innovate and to really get together with your team and innovate with them on how to make your practice better than it is. Think about what we're really in practice doing. Why are we really in practice? What is our service? What are we giving? And innovate that. The next one is significance. That's all of us needing to have the feeling of uniqueness. Now, not only do we need to feel unique in the things that we do, but it's important that our patients feel unique when we're with them. And our patients feel significant. And that's important for us to give them. The next one is love and connection. And we all know what that is. And we all need it. And our patients need it. And these four first human needs, those are basic. All of us experience them. So everything that we do for these 6 human needs, believe it or not. Now, the last 2, growth and contribution, are primary needs. And when we experience growth and contribution, we actually have a fulfilled life. And when we come to seminars like this, what happens for us is that we're able to grow and we're able to expand. And when we do things to improve who we are, then we have growth. And it's the same with our patients. As we start educating them, they can actually grow and expand. And contribution is us giving of ourselves. And you know, Peter Morgan's great at this because he's all about contribution and giving. And when we give to our patients and then they give back, then what happens is that we've met our 6 human needs and we've done them in a fulfilled way so we can have an outstanding life. Now, I'm going to just give you a small little, a small story about this. A number of months ago, I did a seminar. It was 10 days long. And in the seminar, I don't know, have any of you ever done this climbing a 50-foot telephone pole and you have to stand on the pole and there's a trapeze and you jump? How many here have done that? Good, okay. So I'm at this seminar and there's these poles and they're on the beach in, I don't know, somewhere down in Florida. And we're on the beach and I'm with this group of people I've never met. And they kind of put us all in groups. And it's my first day of this 10-day seminar, and we have to climb this pole. And I go, oh man, yeah, I can climb this pole. I've done this before, you know. And they're down below, and I'm harnessed up, and I have certainty, right? Yeah, I can climb the pole. And as I started climbing the pole, I'm like, holy moly, the wind is blowing on the beach, and the pole is like wobbling, and I'm going, holy. And as I'm climbing it, you know, I have my variety, because I'm thinking, holy moly, am I going to get up here? I climb up to the top, no problem. And they're yelling, go Becky, go Becky. And you know, those poles are so interesting, aren't they? Because it's around this big. And you know, I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to climb and get up here? And as they're screaming and yelling, and I'm wanting to feel significant, right? And I want to have love and connection with them because I just met them. And I'm going to go up there, and I go to do it, and then all of a sudden, boom, I fall. And I don't get up to the top. And they're going, yeah, Becky, and you know, I'm coming down. And I come down, and I'm humiliated. I'm like, oh man, I really suck. And they're like, oh, you're great, and they hand me this button. And I put it on, and you're supposed to wear it on your shirt through the whole 10 days. And it says,